Alright guys, welcome to NXT March 11, 2020 review. This episode was actually pretty damn good, especially the ending of this show. Seeing Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa tear each other apart in the Performance Center was downright fucking sick. I understand I haven't been uploading these NXT episodes as quickly as I usually do. I've been just trying to get around these episodes and go ahead and do my reviews on them and whatnot. I promise I'm going to go ahead and try my best to upload these a lot quicker than I have been the last couple of weeks or so, in the last month or so. A lot of news going on about the WrestleMania event. I'm going to be uploading a video on that tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. Other things, I think I'm going to start doing random wrestling talk for episodes on the wrestling news and what's going on. And because I haven't been uploading a whole lot of videos outside of NXT and AEW, I've lost complete interest in NWA. New Japan Wrestling has been out of commission for the last month or so because of the coronavirus. So I haven't been really caring so much to do any kind of shows or anything like that. So I'm going to try my best to start uploading some episodes about what's going on in the wrestling news. And at some point, guys, I think I may end up going ahead and boycotting anything WWE related at this point because of what's going on with Vince McMahon, which I'll get into on my random wrestling talk episode tomorrow, and go over that with you guys. At this time, though, let's go into NXT, what happened on March 11th and so forth. So let's get into the news, into this shit, guys. It's not really news, it's more along the lines of what happened in the event. So anyway, North American Championship match with Cameron Grimes and Keith Lee. What did you expect? Keith Lee wins and retains his NXT North American Championship in a very fairly decent match. Didn't have much of a problem with the matchup. I think the match that we should see at TakeOver should be more along the lines of like Keith Lee versus Dominic Dijakovic and the Damian Priest. I think we should see a triple threat match for that title at the TakeOver event, whenever that might be, depending on what they do with this event, based on this issue with this virus that's going on. The women's ladders match qualifier with Mia Yim versus Dakota Kai. I'm very disappointed in this. Mia Yim actually wins the match and Dakota Kai loses. This was very disappointing. I didn't really think that Mia Yim she didn't need to be in this match. Dakota Kai really deserved to be in this matchup, especially with the fact that later on in the show, Tegan Nox actually wins her match and gets to move on to the ladder match for the number one contender, which I thought was completely idiotic that you have her in it but not Dakota Kai. They've had a great rivalry, and then you take her out of this mix. That's kind of stupid in my opinion. I didn't really like the decision on that one. Then we had Kushida versus Raul Mendoza. Very good matchup. Solid action. The match did end, though, with a Spanish fly into an arm bar. As soon as they hit the mat, Kushida gets the win because of the tap out with an arm bar submission hold. Very good action overall between those two guys. Gotta give it to Kushida. He is a very good wrestler, but they are not utilizing him enough on this brand. He is not getting any kind of momentum. He's not even being used for anything that's important, which is pretty fucking messed up in my opinion. So, whatever. So after the match, Kushida stands tall as his music hits. Fans chant his name as we go to replays, and Kushida continues to play to the crowd as they chant his name. Then we go to to a video package. Shows us how the NXT Women's Champion Rhea Ripley rocked Charlotte Flair with a big punch on Monday Night Raw episode. Ripley will be here on the NXT tonight, blah, 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 to talk about her match for WrestleMania. Back from commercial break, from at that point, we had Tyler Breeze at the Performance Center. And this was before the show went on the air in the Performance Center. We actually see Tyler Breeze and Austin Theory having some words being exchanged between these two men, and very great comments made by both guys in this whole segment. I actually really enjoyed this very much. I hope this match does happen, maybe made into something important. But otherwise, at least be shown on the NXT television episodes. These two guys seem like they could be might have good chemistry together or whatnot in the ring. So I would definitely like to see how they gelled together in a wrestling matchup. I think they might do a great job. So out comes Rhea Ripley as Nigel hypes Charlotte Flair versus Ripley at WrestleMania. Ripley takes the mic and says if Flair is going to psych her out before WrestleMania, she needs a better game plan. Ripley admits this is the biggest match of her career and there are nerves, but what gets her through it is knocking the Queen on her royal ass. So come WrestleMania, the music interrupts and out comes Flair to mostly boos. Fans chant "You don't go here" as Flair slowly walks down the ramp. Flair responds and says let me restate this. Flair responds and says she made here. I don't get what the fucking... That was horrible dialogue right there. Grammar was horrible. She says Ripley has guts. Flair plays to the crowd some more and they chant "Go back to Raw" at her. Flair tells them to be quiet. This is WrestleMania. It's just too much, too fast, too soon. She's not talking about the stadium or the 80,000 fans that will be chanting Ripley's name. Fans chant Rhea now. What is Flair talking about? This right here, the Queen is going to be too much for Ripley to handle. Flair is on the apron now. Flair says she's going to take Ripley deep into deep waters and drown the fastest rising star in WWE, and she's not going to do a damn thing about it. Flair steps through the ropes and Ripley immediately attacks her. They start brawling all over the ring. Flair levels Ripley and fans boo. The go back to Raw chants start up again, and Flair goes for a figure four, but Ripley kicks her into the turnbuckle. It looks like Flair is about to retreat, but she slams Ripley's leg into the ring post and wraps it around as fans boo. Flair applies the figure four around the ring post now, and Ripley screams out as Flair puts the pressure on her knee, driving the heel of her boot into the knee. Officials run down and Flair finally lets Ripley fall to the floor as the boos continue. Flair taunts Ripley some more and makes her exit as the crowd continues yelling at her. My personal opinions on this segment, I have to say it was very good. Then again, I also have to say I'm worried. I'm worried that this is going to be one of those Flair goes ahead and gets another championship reign. I hope that's not the case here. I hope they're bringing Rhea Ripley into this situation to put her over. That's the only logical thing they can do, and it's the right thing to do. They use Flair's name to give Ripley a boost in her character. You go ahead and you have Rhea Ripley defeating one of the top stars in the women's division of the main roster. That definitely says something. And it says something to the fans that you have faith in her and that she's somebody that you want to push on when she gets to the main roster. That's how I see it. That's what I hope happens. Because if she goes into WrestleMania, whenever this might be, and loses, I'm not going to be a happy customer. I'll tell you that much. Right now, I'm not even a happy customer dealing with the fact that this fucking WrestleMania event is possibly going to be canceled. Hopefully, it's postponed more than anything else. And I will get into more of that coronavirus stuff on another day, tomorrow. So, keep an eye out for that. It's definitely going to be all about that in that episode. So, at this point, the announcers lead us to a video package on NXT UK champion Walter and his dominance. The video is narrated by Finn Balor. We see Balor holding up his passport at the end of this whole narration. This is definitely something I'm going to go ahead and watch on NXT UK. I may end up start watching NXT UK just because of the fact of Finn Balor. If Finn Balor wins the UK Championship, which is basically their World Heavyweight title, I am definitely invested in watching UK episodes. Because Finn Balor has got a lot to offer to this brand, and he could bring in some interest from the United States to watch him perform, and the fans will actually get a lot more understanding of these other characters that are on this brand. They may actually like and appreciate what they do. I mean, Tyler Bate, Trent Seven, they definitely have a following, and so does Pete Dunne, most importantly. But they need to start highlighting these characters and getting people more interested in these other guys from the NXT UK. That's just my opinion on that. So back from the commercial break, we see a pre-recorded video of Mia Yim backstage talking about the women's ladder match at TakeOver. A SUV comes speeding up by, and two masked luchadors wearing the same mask hop out and apparently kidnap Raul Mendoza. And they load him up in the truck and speed off. Now this segment, I have to say, I hope this actually has some importance for this guy. I mean, maybe he'll stop being a fucking jobber and losing to everybody. Which would be nice, because I do see a lot of talent in this guy and somebody that can produce a really good match. But bottom line, I mean, this segment was kind of weird, and I hope they make sense of it as they move forward in the next upcoming episodes. So I hope they do something with that, because if that's just their way of getting him off TV for good, I mean, I don't know. Whatever. Alright, so Tegan Nox had a match with Deonna Purrazzo, and this match was very short, straight to the point. Tegan Nox wins with the Shiniest Wizard maneuver and gets the 1, 2, 3, and that was it. That's the match. Nothing much there. So after the match, Nox stands tall as her music hits. We go to replays. Nox, Chelsea Green, Mia Yim are now officially part of the ladder match. We see the Broserweights backstage warming up, and then they go to commercial break. Back from the break, we get another teaser vignette for the mystery superstar to debut. A woman can be seen in the graphics this time. This writer is thinking it might be Scarlett Bordeaux as being the person to appear on NXT, which might be interesting. I'm not sure. Doesn't really matter to me. So, the NXT Tag Team Championship was on the line. Undisputed Era versus the Broserweights. This match actually ended up being a win for Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne. They actually hit a double team on Riley for the pin to retain the titles in the middle of the ring. And this matchup, I gotta say, guys, was a very good main event. It was a lot of fun to watch. It was as good as their takeover in Portland. I mean, not as good, but it was in the realm of the takeover Portland event that they had with those two guys competing against each other. So, I mean, this matchup wasn't too bad, at least for being the last match on the entire card. And then we had the NXT UK former tag team champions, the Grizzled Young Veterans, James Drake and Zach Gibson, come down and get on the apron now to distract the champions. Oh, wait, this was during the matchup, excuse me. But yeah, they tried to play into this matchup and almost cost them the titles. Now, I wouldn't put this as a triple threat match, but you might as well at this point, just for the sake of Undisputed Era being a tag team that have held on to the titles quite a few times. Number one, number two, they have done some great work as NXT tag team champions. So, I mean, at the end of the day, putting the young grizzled veterans against those two teams wouldn't be a bad idea, just to give Undisputed Era a opportunity to perform at the TakeOver event. So I definitely see that might be a possibility. So, at this point, we go straight to the final segment. This final segment was downright off the fucking walls. I mean, these guys tore each other up. And Tommaso Ciampa comes down to the ring to address some things that he was upset about what happened. He wanted Johnny Gargano to come out and talk to him face to face like a man and so forth. And he pretty much attitude was, I don't need your explanation. I know what your explanation is. You don't like what I did a couple of years back, so now you want to get even with me after all these years and so forth and blah blah blah. And that was pretty much the gist of this. Gargano appears on the Titantron. He's talking about how you think I'm going to forgive you after all these years, after the several years ago of turning on me and blah blah blah. General shit that we all should know is the fact if you followed these two guys and their storyline through the years. And he goes on to tell him, look, you're not doing it your way, we're doing it my way kind of thing. And Tommaso Ciampa just went ahead, left the ring, and walked all the way up to where he was backstage. And they brawled like fucking crazy. They beat the living hell out of each other. Breaking glass, breaking mirrors. Tommaso Ciampa had a piece of glass sticking out of his fucking head. I mean, how much serious can you get? These guys really beat the living tard out of each other and really beat the crap out of one another. It was really brutal, and it basically ended with Tommaso Ciampa trying to deliver trying to see here what it was, the maneuver. He actually delivers a fairy tale ending. They're actually on the top of this podium, and they drop all the way down to the floor through the announce table with a fairy tale ending. So Gargano looks shocked and in pain with his shoulder in bad shape. Fans go nuts and chant holy shit as officials rush over to check on both men. Ciampa and Gargano are rolling around in pain on the collapsed announce table, which has been flattened. NXT General Manager William Regal is among the officials tending to the chaos. The first ever NXT from the WWE Performance Center goes off the air with Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa selling the huge perch bump. Now, I'm going to go on record and say this. I don't think they were selling anything. Those guys looked severely hurt. And after something like that, this matchup definitely deserves a Hell in a Cell match. I don't care what anybody fucking says. This match deserves Hell in a Cell 100%. I don't care how crappy Hell in a Cell is at this point, based on what WWE's main roster has done. I don't care. This deserves Hell in a Cell 100% because these two guys, over the last 3 years, have been bumping heads with each other. Even after they look like they forgave each other, all is not forgiven yet. And this match deserves a match Hell in the Cell. Another stipulation I would add to this is that if the loser in this Hell in a Cell match needs to leave NXT. That is a guaranteed stipulation that needs to also be added to this match. We need to see a Hell in a Cell with loser leaves NXT. Simple as that, guys. Anyway, leave a comment down below. Hit the like button if you liked the video. And hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel. And I thank you very much for watching and have a great night, guys. Bye.